Hi everybody, I'm Christian Catholic. This is Season 4, Episode 18. And before we get into today's topic, I want to remind you guys that Kid Catholic t-shirts are now for sale. You can order one right now at kid-catholic.com/shop. We have all different sizes. You can order one right now and have it shipped to you with an awesome design. The link to that will be in the description and in the comments. That's kid-catholic.com/shop. The t-shirts look awesome. And today's topic is dogma and doctrine. So, let's get into it. Now, what are they? They seem like pretty big, complicated words, but actually, doctrine is teachings of the faith. So, just what Catholics teach, right? What we believe. So, if you're a kid watching this, everything you've heard in the schools, everything you've been taught about Catholicism, that is doctrine, okay? That is the teaching of the church. Now, there is a narrower version of doctrine, which is defined as dogma. Dogma is a part of doctrine, okay? Dogma is teachings that cannot be changed. They cannot be changed no matter what. They are what they are, and if they change, then we commit a big sin. Dogmas cannot be changed under any circumstances whatsoever. So dogmas are a part of doctrine, but other doctrines can sometimes be changed, even though they rarely ever are. Now, what does the Catechism have to say about this? Well, right here in the CCC 88, it says, the Church's magisterium exercises the authority it holds from Christ to the fullest extent when it defines dogmas, that is, when it proposes truths contained in divine revelation or having a necessary connection with them in a form of obliging the Christian people to an irrevocable adherence of faith. Those were a lot of big words, and basically it just expands on what I said, saying dogmas cannot be changed, and dogmas are a part of doctrine. A perfect example of dogma and doctrine is men priests, right? Priests are men. Women cannot be ordained priests, and that is dogma. That cannot be changed. And the simple reason for this is when a priest becomes a priest, the church acts as the bride, and the priest acts as the groom. When you need to have a bride and a groom, you can't have two brides. So dogma is, no matter what other people might say, dogma is that there are men priests, and doctrine is that there are single priests, right? But doctrine is single priests. So married priests, having a priest with a wife, having a priest who can have kids, that is not dogma. So that can be changed. Even though it won't necessarily be changed, it very well could. Another dogma teaching is the resurrection of Jesus. He absolutely resurrected, and we believe that no matter what, that is the foundation of the Christian faith, right, is the resurrection. And that is dogma. We will not change our beliefs on that because there is 100% proof, and no matter what, he resurrected, and we know that for a fact. So that is dogma. Our belief on that will not change no matter what. I also want to point out, saying that all doctrine can be changed is false, because dogma is a part of doctrine. Like I said earlier, I just want to stress that a little bit more. Dogma is a type of doctrine. It's just a type of doctrine that cannot be changed. So saying what's the difference between dogma and doctrine, it doesn't really make that much sense, because dogma is a part of doctrine. So who decides what is dogma and what isn't? And well, dogma is decided by the College of Bishops at a certain council, or by the Pope when he is speaking in ex cathedra, in which he says that a certain doctrine, dogma, is necessary to believe to be a Catholic faithful. And a lot of this was decided at the Vatican II Council. Some stuff keeps getting decided. Some doctrine gets moved up to dogma as the years go on. And so basically the Pope and the College of Bishops decide what is dogma and what isn't, and what should be trained and what should be changed, which is the other side of doctrine, and what absolutely cannot be, no matter what circumstances. Now, this next part that I want to tell you about, I cannot take credit for this. I found this on osv.com. I will leave a link to their website in the description. It says, you must keep in mind the distinction between the Church's extraordinary magisterium and her ordinary magisterium. A dogma is a teaching solemnly defined by the Pope and the exercise of the extraordinary magisterium. The Second Vatican Council taught that our Lord Jesus Christ endowed his church with infallibility in defining doctrine pertaining to faith and morals. Those were some big words also. So basically what it's saying is, when a pope makes a dogma, the Pope uses something called extraordinary magisterium. Then it goes later to talk about doctrine. It says, a doctrine not solemnly defined, but taught by the Pope and the bishops comes to us through the ordinary magisterium. When the bishops, in communion with the Pope, teach in matters concerning faith and morals, the faithful must adhere to the teaching with a ready and respectful allegiance of mind. So basically this is saying, yeah, you don't technically have to believe in doctrine to be a practicing Catholic, but it is very good to. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you that you should ignore all doctrine and just focus on the dogma because the doctrine just isn't important. That's not what I'm saying. It is very good to firmly believe in doctrine, right? It is very good to firmly believe in doctrine, whereas dogma, it is necessary to believe it. But just because doctrine isn't necessarily necessary doesn't mean that you shouldn't believe in it. We should focus our attention to the teachings of doctrine just as much as we should focus our attention to the teachings of dogma. Whether the teaching of doctrine can be changed or not, just because it can be changed doesn't mean that it isn't true. And we should try our best to listen to doctrine just as much as we should listen to dogma. So remember, dogma is teaching that cannot be changed, and doctrine is teaching that can be changed. But that doesn't mean that we should only focus our attention to dogma. We should focus our attention to all the teachings of the Catholic Church and try our best to grow a firmer relationship with God through doctrine and dogma. So now that the topic is done, do you guys know what it's time for now? It's time for the Saint of the Week. Back at the Saint Sofa, and we haven't been in the Saint Sofa in a while. This is going to be exciting. And guys, I know I say this almost every time. This is one of my favorite saints. That's something I say almost every Saint of the Week. But I think this time, this saint has like one of the most incredible stories, and he's not a very well-known saint, but in my opinion, he should be the most well-known saint. Okay, get this. He was the one who pierced Jesus' side during the crucifixion. Most of us know about that. When Jesus was crucified, his side was pierced with a lance and blood and water flowed out. St. Longinus was the one who pierced his side, and at the time, St. Longinus was nearly blind. But when some of the water and some of the blood hit him after he pierced him, he was completely healed. How awesome is that? How incredibly awesome is that? It gives me chills just thinking about it. He left the army and converted. He then became a monk, but he was captured for his faith. This part really hurt him. He had his teeth forced out and his tongue cut off. But get this, miraculously, he kept talking normally. He talked with perfect pronunciation. I know I've done multiple mind blows, but this just deserves another mind blow. That is actually awesome. He was later martyred and beheaded for his faith. And get this, someone who was there who beheaded him was blind also. But when some of the blood of St. Longinus hit him, he was healed too, just as St. Longinus was when he pierced Jesus' side. I have to do another mind blow. I can't resist. St. Longinus is an incredible saint. Now, St. Longinus is a pretty hard saint to relate to, but he's not a hard saint to look up to. St. Longinus, if you ever need help with any struggles, really, he went through so many struggles. He was an executioner, one of the worst, rudest people. Then he became a convert. Then he suffered greatly, and he still kept going. He still kept believing in Jesus no matter what. He kept going, and I think that is actually awesome. So anytime you right there feel down, anytime you feel like you can't get back up, just remember St. Longinus. Remember how he was in a low point in his life. He wasn't a Christian, he was an executioner, and he was just going through the motions. But when that miracle happened, he instantly knew that who Jesus was. He cried out. We read in the Bible, he cried out, "Truly, this is the Son of God." And so I really think that we need to pray to St. Longinus, not to him, through him, to ask for his intercession for us if we're ever going through struggles, and know that he went through struggles too. He was a person too, just like you and I. That's something I want to stress with saints. They were people too. They didn't have any special miraculous powers like Jesus did, right? They were people too, and if he can go through it, if he can get back up, and if he can continuing If he can continue to grow in his faith and end up in heaven, you can do the same. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to please go to kid-catholic.com/shop and get your very own Kid Catholic t-shirt right now. Also, don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below and the bell next to it. That way you get notified when I come out with a new video. Don't forget to press the like button down below and comment any saint or topic suggestions that you might have. Also, don't forget to check out all 3 of my social medias: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. The link to all 3 of those will be in the description and in the comments as well. That was Kid Catholic Season 4, Episode 18. I'll see you guys next week, and hi, Brielle!